Hey everyone, this is Miles from VRDroidsBlog.com here today with a video review of the 2011 third generation MacBook Air. Now this right here is the 11-inch model. A few months ago I reviewed the 13-inch of last year's just so I'd have a comparison for when the new ones came out. So although it's not the same model that I'm reviewing this time, I think it's actually fine. Since, the 13-inch is obviously more powerful than the 11-inch, and this generation is much more powerful than last year's. So, let's take a look at the ports real quick. Now, as you can see, Apple didn't change the design from the 2010 edition of this. They left everything the same, same thickness. It does have a backlit keyboard, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So, as you can see, microphone right there, headphone and microphone jack right there, USB 2, the MagSafe charging port. On this side we have the other USB 2 and the Thunderbolt port to match the MacBook Pros and iMacs that came out earlier this year. Now, as I mentioned before, this is the 11-inch model. So I believe it is, let's see, 1366 by 768 resolution. The screen looks absolutely great. You can't really get a good idea of that in the video, but nice pixel density, nice colors, nice viewing angle, all that good stuff. So let's start out here with the specs, and then I'll give you an idea of the boot time. So I have the 11-inch 1199 priced model here. That's a 1.6 gigahertz dual-core Intel Core i5 processor. That's Sandy Bridge. 4 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM. It has 128 gigabytes of storage space. That's flash storage. Again, 11.6 LED backlit resolution screen. It has Intel Graphics 3000, but what really gives this the graphics power is not that chipset so much as just Sandy Bridge processors in general. 2 USB 2 ports, Thunderbolt, headphone, all that stuff that I mentioned already. It weighs 2.38 pounds for those of you who care about that. So let's go ahead and boot this up. As you can see, very impressive boot time. That's from a cold startup. It wasn't on standby or anything like that. So I measured it about 14 seconds in my earlier test. Not sure if this was that or not, maybe shorter, maybe longer, but the point is it's very fast. So these are pre-installed with Lion. As you can see here, we have the mission control, I believe this is called. It's kind of interesting the way they have this laid out. It's kind of like spaces combined with a few other things to make a really pretty nice multitasking experience. Also, we have Launchpad, which shows you all of the applications you have installed. In terms of graphics, just so you know, I've done a Portal 2 test on here. Didn't really get around to trying anything else, but it runs Portal 2 brilliantly. Medium-high settings. I didn't check the frame rates, but it looked perfect in all the tests I did on that. No lag at all. So that is absolutely great and stunning in comparison to the 2010 model that still had Core 2 Duo. Performance-wise, unless you get the base model for $999, which still has, I believe, 2 gigabytes of RAM, although I think you can upgrade that if you buy it online. But I mean, in all the different models, really the only difference is screen size and storage space. You're not really going to notice any kind of performance boost from a 1.7 gigahertz processor instead of a 1.6. It's all the same kind of RAM. Again, if you get the 2 gigabyte model, you'll notice performance difference in comparison with the 4 gigabyte, but all the ones with 4 gigabytes of RAM should be fine. So, oh yeah, the backlit keyboard, I'll just enable that here. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see that very well, but it's pretty nice, different brightness levels just like the MacBook Pros. You can't turn it on without the sensor not detecting light, obviously, but yeah, it's a nice feature to have. Again, I like the fact that you can dim the display on these all the way to no backlight. Something that's always nice to see, in my opinion, on laptops. So, all in all, this is a very responsive laptop. I think they've fixed a lot of the issues they had with last year's model. Like, it was more of a gimmicky product last year. Like, if you needed, if you had a lot of money and you were willing to use that to pay for just portability and thinness, all that kind of stuff, then last year this was the laptop for you. This year they've expanded that a bunch by making it a pretty powerful gaming laptop, which is I mean, I've reviewed other Sandy Bridge laptops this year, but it's really nice to see a jump from Core 2 Duo to the Sandy Bridge i5 processors. So yeah, that's really great. So it became much more of a broad-stream laptop this year. You can game on it, you can do web browsing, word processing, any of that stuff, it'll do great. In terms of competitors that I should mention, I know Asus is coming out with an Ultrabook later this year, just as thin, just as fast. So if you think you might want to do that, then I'd suggest you hold out until around September or October, something like that. I think that's when they're releasing it. But just by itself, this is an absolutely amazing laptop. And if you want a Mac product, Apple product, then I'd definitely go for this.